As a journalist, I have seen firsthand the impact of insecurity, having served in Maiduguri, the epicenter of Boko Haram. Trust me when I say the state of being secured, or should I say freedom from danger, is priceless. The necessity to protect and keep all Nigerians free from all forms of danger perhaps informed the resolve by the Nigerian police to collaborate with other security agencies to ensure safety at all Eid grounds and other venues of celebrations during the Eid El Kabir.
Celebrations like this, some undesirable elements, some hoodlums, and some misguided persons might want to take advantage of the mood of the nation to embark on all kinds of crime. They want to tell them in very clear terms that the Nigerian police force, working in concert with other security agencies and with the good people of this country, have got the capacity and the reach to bring criminals to book wherever they are.
The police is also deploying additional personnel, crime prevention and detection equipment to cover identified and perceived criminal flashpoints. Similarly, the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps is deploying personnel to man critical infrastructure across the country, with the Commandant General charging his lieutenants across the country to work in synergy with sister agencies, be civil and diplomatic in dealings with the public. Security agency says intense surveillance and intelligence gathering will be maintained and are seeking public support and cooperation in their areas.
Now, let's also take another report on the Federal Road Safety Corps preparedness for the festival by Oyeyemi Ajayi.
Sights such as these are quite expected during festivities, as people tend to travel to different parts of the country to celebrate with their loved ones. Though many a times reports of accident tends to be part of the story, with some drivers, especially the commercial ones, usually in a hurry to make many journeys with much gain. This they achieve with overspeeding and utmost recklessness on the roads. This time around, in line with the zero tolerance on road crashes agenda of the Federal Road Safety Corps, overspeeding is one of the road offenses the Corps is not taking lightly.
Even the Deputy Corps Marshal, the Corps Marshal himself will be on the road to show the seriousness of the exercise and to equally motivate the people that are already on the road. Once they see the Corps Marshal, they see the Deputy Corps Marshals, all of them on the road, they know that it's a serious business.
With awareness campaigns around the country, over 200 mobile courts have been set up to try road offenders with the use of mobile phones while driving, drivers without licenses, lane indiscipline, drivers with expired and worn-out tires, amongst others.
I think the major challenge is the traffic on the road. That's the most challenge we have during this festive period.
The Corps will be making use of gadgets and equipment with 736 patrol vehicles, 120 ambulances, as well as 35,000 personnel during the 24 hours patrol, which commences on Friday 9th August to Wednesday the 14th.
We have another report, this time from Maiduguri, and our network correspondent there is Maimuna Garba.
Preparations for the Salah festival are on top gear as residents of Maiduguri troop to markets, notably the popular Maiduguri Monday Market and Gamboru Market for perishable items, ram and new clothes for the Eid celebration. Prices of essential commodities required during the celebrations like tomatoes, onions and cooking oil among others remained stable.
Some are saying that when the Salah day is behind or closer, we are putting the prices high. It's not like that because it is the season. This is the season of it.
We are trying our best to see and tackle the price. We will not let him go high.
It is affordable, so it's not that high. It's not that much cost like that. It's cheaper.
This one, I bought it at 400 naira, so it's very, very, very cheap. It's compared for the other days.
Various satellite ram markets have sprung up across the metropolis as Muslim faithful rush to purchase the sacrificial ram preparatory to the celebration. The city is calm and peaceful as residents go about their legitimate activities and preparations ahead of the Salah festival.
Big thanks there to all our correspondents, who sent in the reports that we've used as background as to our discussion this morning. We have guests with us here in the Abuja studios as well as at our Ibadan Network Center. First, let's welcome Bala Chiroma. Bala Chiroma is Commissioner of Police in charge of the FCT Command. Commissioner of Police, pleasure to have you with us on the program.
Good morning, viewers.
Okay. Also here with us in the studios, we'd like to welcome Gora Wobin. He's FRSC Sector Commander in charge of the Federal Capital Territory. Pleasure to have you with us on the program this morning.
It's a pleasure. Thank you very much. Okay. Good morning, viewers.
And joining us from our Ibadan Network Center, we have Shino Olukolu. He's Commissioner of Police in charge of Oyo State. CP Olukolu, pleasure to have you with us on the program this morning.
You can actually hear us, and let's ask him the very first question. But before that, Shino Olukolu, I hope I got that correctly, because Femi Johnson, our man in Ibadan, was so meticulous about how this name should be pronounced. I hope we got it correctly, Honorable Commissioner. All right, a short while ago, we read a news item that was explaining an elaborate security arrangement planned by the Nigerian Police Force for the entire southwest of Nigeria. But for the purpose of this program, let's narrow it to the Salah celebration that we're about to have in the country. Now, let us know the kind of security arrangements that you have put in place in Oyo State for the safety of property and lives during the Salah celebration.
The Nigerian Police Force in Oyo State, the Oyo State Police Command, is ready. We have already dot our I's and cross our T's. Our operational orders are there. The patrol teams are there. Aside from that, we have both vehicular and foot patrol. We have what we call the tactical operational points. We have the men in Mufti who are out there. Part of the special forces, the Inspector General of Police, has already held the command with some personnel, assisted by the AIG Zone 11. The men are out there 24/7. We are, however, heightening and rejigging what we are doing to ensure that the Salah celebrations was peaceful. The entire citizens of Oyo State, assisted by the state government, we have been trying to ensure that no criminal activities takes place during the Salah celebrations. The officers are out there, and our telephone numbers, emergency telephone numbers, have been given to the citizens anytime, any day, 24/7, because they don't sleep. Once that is received, operational men are deployed. Aside from those on the field, we also have those who are in the office as backup for emergency situations. In addition to this, we are also working in concert with other sister security agencies to ensure that the entire citizens of Oyo State and the entire area is covered. In addition to that, we are also doing what we call cordon and search. This is to ensure that all the criminals around the bushes, around the forest, are flushed out and disallow them from carrying out their nefarious activities. In addition to this, we have what we call a synergy with the other quasi-security agencies, like the vigilante groups, the hunters, the traditional rulers, and the community members. That is in the spirit of community policing, because we work together in Oyo State. And that has accounted for the relative peace we have here. In addition to that, you have the situation where people are relocating to Oyo State, and we begin to have new sites on a daily basis. That is an indication of the relative peace that is existing in Oyo State. I want to assure the entire citizenry of Oyo State that the Salah celebrations, we have rejigged our security system, and we assure them that they will celebrate in peace and tranquility.
Well, CP Shino Olukolu, earlier you talked about some emergency numbers. What are those numbers?
Call those numbers. The emergency control room numbers for your state are 0705 5495 413. 0705 5495 413. The other one is 0808 1768 614. 0808 1768 614. Anytime this number is called, there are personnel to attend to such emergency calls, and immediately the security architecture is activated. Men on field who are closest to the area where the distress call comes from will react, and then we have men at the state headquarters who are on standby who will also go ahead to assist those who are already on the roll, on the call. Thank you.
CP Olokolo, let me ask you this question, because over time we've had other law enforcement agencies that have been on Good Morning Nigeria. There is a number, 112. That's a 3-digit number. That's the National Emergency Call Center. And I think also 122 for the Federal Road Safety Corps. What is the link between these numbers I've just indicated, 122 and 112, to the Oyo Police Command? Because the numbers you just read out now, unfortunately, we didn't have them on the screen as generated by our graphics people. But what is the link? If I'm in Oyo State and an emergency arises, I dial 112, can I get help from you?
The one I just read out belongs to the Oyo State Police Command emergency room control, the control room emergency number. The 112, we have interconnectivity. Once they have issues, they also activate us, they inform us, and we also take appropriate action.
All right, Kiran, yes. Let's
return to Abuja here. Let's return to Abuja here and talk to CP Bala Chirima, the Commissioner of Police, FCT Command. There are flashpoints in Abuja here noted for criminal activities. And now that we're talking about Eid El Kabir celebration, there is every indication that those flashpoints will be the normal target of criminals. What are the plans on ground to checkmate this?
Well, indeed there are flashpoints, and we are quite aware of the existence of these flashpoints, so we've made adequate arrangements to ensure that no untoward incidents occur in these points. We're doing this by improved visibility. We're deploying patrol vehicles to these flashpoints. We'll be having both covert and overt operations. People in uniform, that is the patrol vehicles, will also have people in mufti that will be acting as undercover agents there. These patrol vehicles, you see, are kind of mini police stations whereby if there's any incident that occurs, either to you or to another person, you could quickly rush to them and they'll come to the aid of the persons concerned.
What, ahead of the Salah celebrations, what is the crime temperature, if I may put it that way, in the FCT?
The crime temperature, as you say, has been stable within the FCT, and we intend to intensify activities to ensure that we record a crime-free or hitch-free Salah celebration within the FCT. As I said, we are improving our visibility, intensifying visibility. There will be improved patrols, both vehicular and foot patrols within the FCT. We've already embarked on carrying out raids of black spots, as mentioned. These are flashpoints, and it's been proved to be very successful. We've arrested quite a number of hoodlums and kept them behind bars. There is synergy between us and other sister agencies, and we are working together both in patrols and in terms of these raids. We also have adequate coverage of places we know people will gather, especially praying grounds, churches. We've already commenced this by ensuring proper coverage of markets.
As a CP, there are suburbs of Abuja. We talk about Nyanya, Maraba, Masaka, Idu, Karimo, and all of that. This is where we have the larger population of inhabitants of the FCT. These are, of course, crime-prone areas as well because of the population of the people who were there. Is there any special arrangement? Because that is where more of the action, will be, not necessarily at the city center.
And definitely, that is what I'm trying to say. Because of the festivity, we already have adequate security arrangements in such places, but because of tendency of issues during festivities, we've intensified our efforts. I said there will be improved visibility patrols within such areas. We've already commenced embarking on raids. We're in touch with residents of these areas. We've already kind of community policing, and it's really bearing fruits because people are beginning to liaise with us, and we are able to ensure that we maintain stability crime-wise within these localities.
What are the black spots, for instance, in the FCT?
Well, you take about, say, Bega roundabout, Area 1 roundabout, the area around the National Hospital. As you will notice, there are improved police presence in these places, and that is why we've had little or no complaints from these areas of recent.
All right, thank you very much, CP Chiroma. We'll come back to you shortly. Now, let's bring in the sector commander for the FCT. We're not talking about the Federal Road Safety Corps. Yeah. Of course, there have been reports as to thousands of personnel being deployed along major highways. But give us a sense of what motorists should expect, in the course of the holiday season, which actually begins today.
Well, as a matter of fact, deployments have been done. And of course, having done the deployment, we expect the motorists to be conscious of what they do on the roads. We also expect that they should be more careful. Before you embark on any trip at all, you must make sure your vehicle is sound. You must have checked this vehicle so that you avoid the situation of breakdown on your way. The tires must be genuine tires that are good, because these are things that brings about you are moving and you have a tire blowout, which is not supposed to be. Then, of course, we also expect that speed, you must obey the speed limit of this country. Whichever road you are using, if it is an express, in a smaller car, you are not expected to go beyond 100 kilometers per hour. If it is a highway where you face me, I face you, you must not go beyond 80 kilometers per hour. These are controllable speeds should there be any eventualities. And what we will do more is more of traffic control, where we do good road lining to avoid a situation where people will be jumping from one lane to the other, and try to also face oncoming traffic. These are things that bring hold up in so many environments on our roads. So we believe that if they're able to obey these simple traffic rules and regulations, I'm very sure it's going to be very free. We'll have free movement of motorists.
Okay. All right, thank you. Let's return to Ibadan very briefly to ask Shino Olukolu one more question before he leaves us. We understand that he's going to leave very shortly. CP Shino, there is a higher vehicular movement across the nation, and Oyo State will not be an exception. And we've heard about kidnap cases in the southwest of Nigeria, just like in other part of the country, along the highways. Do you have any special arrangement whereby those traveling in and outside Oyo State could be adequately, protected within this period?
Of course we do. We are conscious of the fact that people will move around, and there is going to be heavy traffic on the roads. For instance, on the Lagos-Ibadan Express Road, we have men deployed at tactical areas with a distance to ensure that people who are moving on that road are safe and secured. We also have the one that links up with Osun State. We have the road that links up with Ogun State, that is along Ijebu-Ode-Ibadan Road. All these roads are well policed, and the men there are under strict instruction and orders to ensure that nothing untoward happens around them. They are to beam their searchlight on any suspicious movement, suspicious persons, suspicious parcels and packages to ensure that people that access that road while they are going home or coming in are safe and secured. We know people want to return to their ancestral homes to ensure that they celebrate with their family members, and that is part of our responsibility to ensure that they do that in a secured and safe environment.
All right, on that note, we'd like to thank you, Commissioner of Police Shina Olukolo, in charge of the Oyo State Police Command. Thank you for being with us in Good Morning Nigeria today. All right, let's return to our Abuja studios. Kyrian, I just wanted to ask the FCT Sector Commander.
Yes, sir.
I'm not sure, what is the approach to deployment? I'm asking this question because earlier you were talking about motorists learning to be cautious and then to be obedient, to traffic regulations and traffic control. It turns out that sometimes on the highway, particularly at the bottleneck points where you have a traffic gridlock, you hardly will find road safety corps officials there. Why is that so? And if you just move a kilometer or less, you will find the officials who are stopping vehicles and asking them for their particulars. But where you have that particular gridlock, they won't be available.
Well, sir, let me say this. On issue of dreadlocks, FRSC personnel, especially during festivities, we know the particular areas that we experience dreadlocks, and we deploy our men with special marshals to also complement the effort of the regular marshals on traffic control. Like I said, we are going to do more on traffic control, not on enforcement. Enforcement will only be on critical offenses. And these critical offenses are maybe somebody is driving and is using the phone, somebody is taking one way, or somebody tried to drive dangerously, and of course people who are overloading. This will not turn our eyes on them. We'll get them arrested. Now, like you said, sir, if it is not during festive period, it is possible to have a situation like that. One may not be a ghost to know there's a problem in so place unless I am informed. But if the information is given to us, and that is why it is always good, the 122 emergency number is a free toll line for the FRSC.
Sorry, I'm not cutting you short, but what Kingsley asked should not necessarily be during festive periods, talking about under normal circumstances. Right, and these are points that are already been noted to be such, especially in some maybe rush hour or at the close of work and all of that. So it's like a habitual thing in those spots he was talking about. But you don't find your men there. We don't find your men there. But you move a little bit further, you see them standing, on the road. You talk about critical offenses.
Yes.
I mean, when you say critical offenses, I would like you to expatiate on that, because there are several road offenses that perhaps ordinary man could term as critical, not just using phone and all of that. People are known in this country as dangerous drivers. Even in the city of Abuja, now talk of the expressway, there is this blatant, non-adherence to the regulations on the highways. That is established. If you do highways, I understand what I'm talking about. I do highways, so I understand what I'm talking about. So please let us know the special plan by FRSC this time around. That we'll have Monday, Tuesday, a public holiday, and of course movements have started this weekend.
Well, like I said earlier on, sir, definitely we've done our deployments. And the deployments that have been done, majorly through traffic control. And most of these movements, like in the FCT, for example, have 4 exit and 4 entry points. But we know that people moving out of the FCT will be more in number. So, like the Gogolada axis, for example, where we have the Wazobia Park, that place, immediately after the bridge, when you are going towards Lokoja axis, that place used to be a serious bottleneck environment. I do personally go there to be, to take charge. They also have the Zuba axis. Those going towards the north, that place also always a bottleneck area. The Nyanya axis is also a bottleneck area. They also have the Dusi Alaji. those who have the fear of going towards through Zuba to the north, they would rather prefer to go through the Buhari end, through the Dutse Alaji end. So these are the 4 entry and exit points in the FCT. Now, all these points, I can assure you, during occasions of this nature, we have massive deployments along these locations. But outside, sorry sir, outside festivities, outside the festivities, certainly, at times, if there are bottlenecks or there are hold-ups that are experienced, and our attention is drawn to it, maybe our men are not sighted within that environment, and our attention is drawn through 122, or to those who know my direct official line or personal line that do call once in a while, I normally send patrol teams to go and make sure that that traffic holdup is decongested.
Well, thank you. I just wondering, Kirian, we hear thousands of road safety corps officials have been deployed, and they're hardworking and diligent officers amongst you, no question about that. But those who use Nigerian roads often will complain about the attitude of some of your colleagues, and some of us have also experienced them. Now, where you notice a bottleneck and a kilometer or less away, you'll find your officers, mounting a checkpoint, and you draw their attention to what you just went through for them to help clear, because you're not going back into that traffic jam, and it's as if, Oga, make it a go. Why is that so? Why? I'll give you 2 examples. Ajay Bandele on the Ijebu-Ode or expressway was under reconstruction during the Easter period. I was talking on that spot for several hours. Just last week, between Uguoba and Oka, just about 2 kilometers to Oka, no movement for more than 2 hours. And your men at Oka were informed. They said, look, there's some crisis that people are resorting to self-help. And it was as if I'm making they go. Why is that so?
Well, I think maybe attitude could attribute to that. But I can assure you that the FRAC I belong, the commercial will never take that from anybody. He will never. And that is the more reason why, despite the fact that you inform them, just also try to make effort to call 122. Perhaps once you call the 122 and you give us the exact location of where that thing is, the nearest command to that particular issue will be called upon, and they know the call is coming from the call center, so they will not joke with it. Yeah. Because they will know that they are being monitored. So since they are being monitored, they'll be serious about it. But I want to believe whoever does that is not a serious-minded road safety personnel.
Okay, thank you. I think you've made a very good point. In trying to answer Kinsley's question, that this 122 line could be used to report such people, because you cannot vouch for all your staff, right? You may have given them the training, but adhering to the training it depends on individuals. Now, let's return to Bala Chirima once more. Commissioner Bala, Kaduna-Abuja Expressway has become notorious, with kidnapping and other nefarious activities. But of course, we know that the police has also recorded successes, along that route. And now that we are entering a festive period, is there any special plan for that route, which of course is notorious? I wouldn't know exactly why the kidnappers chose that place. Maybe the terrain is encouraging them to do that.
Well, within the space of road Kaduna-Abuja within the FCT isn't that notorious for kidnapping. However, the other segment, maybe going towards Kaduna, is noted for that. However, the Inspector General of Police has made adequate arrangements to take care of that situation. We have this operation he brought about, Operation Puff Adder, spearing fruits. A lot of arrests have been made. And I'm sure during this period of festivity, policing activity within that particular highway is being intensified. More personnel, more equipments are being deployed. I will seize this opportunity to assure travelers that their safety is guaranteed on this particular highway within this period.
In an emergency in the FCT, what are the contact numbers?
We have the call center number, which is 122. If you get across to the call center, they get across to us. But we also have our direct phone lines, which is linked to our control room. They are displayed on the screen. The control room number comes directly. There is no kind of intervention, and therefore you have direct access to the police. Now, immediately we receive a call, we deploy the nearest patrol team to that particular location to take care of the distress that might have been reported. And this has proven to be quite effective. And that is why we believe in being proactive in our policing activities within the FCT. You will see improved visibility. You will talk about raids of black spots. You talk about both patrols, foot patrols, both covert and overt. That accounts for the relative stability within the FCT.
Okay, Commissioner of Police, thank you very much. We would like to take some of the tweets that we have received now from our viewers. Danladin Daebo has this tweet. As we celebrate this year's Eid El Kabir, motorists must remember that only the living celebrate. We all should avoid overspeeding and use of mobile phones while driving. It's only when we abide by these basic rules that we can minimize accidents on our roads.
Okay, Law Alpha C, in a very charged atmosphere in Nigeria, the security agencies will have to be on red alert during the celebrations in order not to transmit to a sorrowful situation, and Muslims should be security conscious while celebrating.
Now, Titus Monday Knock, the security agencies should be up and doing during the Salah celebrations, and the friendly crossfire between them should be avoided as much as possible. The synergy between the operations should be carefully coordinated. Wishing all Muslim Ummah happy Salah celebrations.
All right, from Chris Simeon, Muslims shouldn't see Eid El Kabir as a period of celebration only, but should pray fervently to God to have mercy upon us by fixing this country.
Now, Daily Jack Solomon has this with, as preparations are on for the Salah celebrations, adequate security measures must be put in place to respond to potential security threats during this time. Also, the police should not allow some violent individuals or groups to engage in activities that would affect the unity of the country.
Muhammadu Mozamil, we urge the police and the FRSC to intensify efforts in curbing criminals, especially one chance, because transportation and movements would increase this season, and these criminals are cab owners.
Now, Awuruji Joshua says, take the campaign to the passengers and 50% of crash problems will be solved. Develop apps, let them monitor speed limit and other irregularities, and be able to report directly via the app to the FRSC. Most drivers are illiterate, and we should never allow them to toy with our lives.
All right, Stephen Wells. The Nigerian police should try to make the emergency numbers short and usable. Kinsley, at this point, let's Wobin Gora talk to us about how prepared their men are, because you are going to be operating across the nation, and of course I'm sure you have all your commands have deployed men and women who are going to man routes across the country, and there's an expectation that there could be accidents, along the line because of a higher vehicular movement across the nation this period. Do you have the right basic equipment to assist accident victims this period?
Yeah, the FRSC, we have ambulances. We call them the zebras. These are for rescue purposes, should there be any crash, which we don't actually pray for. And they are strategically located. Like in the FCT, for example, we have about 10 of them. One at Abaji, Girin, Yangoje, Zuba. Then when you wheel towards the AYA axis, we have one at Guarimpa. Then when you wheel towards the Nyanya axis, we have at Kubo, and we have at Goshen. And then you come within the city center, we have one at the Secretariat, we also have one at the Area 10, then we have one at the city gate. Then we also have one just by, we recently relocated that one from the Idu railway axis to the federal housing along the Lube axis. So about 10 of them are strategically located, and they are 24/7. At any point in time, apart from those ones, even in the commands, we also have rescue teams in the commands, 24/7. If there's any crash at any point in time, we are informed.
Across the nation?
Across the nation, we also have ambulance services all over. We have in Gegu, that's taking Lokoja as a sample too. We have one at Gegu. We also have one, we have about 2 in Lokoja. We also have, just a little bit after Gegu, we also have one there, that's a Kotokarfe, So most of the crash-prone environments in the Federation, we have our ambulances. And we also have outpost commands that are also saddled with that responsibility of rescue. And they are also strategically located.
Are there medical personnel attached to
the
ambulances?
Yes, all the ambulances have medical personnel attached to them.
Okay. Earlier you were talking about obedience to speed limits.
Yes.
In the beginning, the road safety corps had radar guns.
Yes.
So how do you monitor an overspeeding vehicle now?
Now, sir, well, of recent, or some years ago, we insisted that all commercial vehicles for now must install speed limiting devices, which quite a number of them have complied. Some have not yet complied, and we are also making sure that such vehicles are arrested and booked accordingly to ensure that they install the speed limiting device. Now, the radar guns we used to have to monitor speed, we still have some that we are using in most of the areas that is adjudged to be speed prone. So we still use them. And also, it will also interest Nigerians to also know that we also have breathalyzers for people who take enhanced drugs or alcohol. These are also there with the patrol teams that we are also using. So I believe with even the tow trucks we have at also strategic locations, if there's any broken down truck or vehicle along the way, that can easily be cleared. Yes.
What is your modus? Will it be part of your schedule, for instance, to visit motor parks where these vehicles take off and, along with police officers, take care of those persons who are either hawking or outrightly dispensing baraga and other substances?
Yeah, we've done a lot on that aspect as far as the FRC is concerned. You see, most of these baraga, shakabula, shakabambam, I can assure you that even the officials of the NURTW return NATO don't allow them in the parks now. They don't allow them in the parks now. But of course, at the background, which they may not be able to know that these guys are going there to take some of these things. And that's the more reason why at times, some of them, like the private transporters, they do call us to bring our breathalyzers to test their drivers before they take off from the parks. So we go around both fleet operators parks and the general motor parks to carry out some of these tests.
But CP Chiruba, do you also raid these parks to find out those, according to the names? I only knew of Baraga, but it's also listed Shakabambam and
Shakabula.
Shakabula.
Yes.
And do you also get to...
Yes, we work in concert with the synergy between both agencies, and we work in concert together. We assist them in these raids and bringing sanity to motor parks. Apart from them, there are other criminals that interest the police in the parks, and therefore the essence, there is very important essence in our working together.
Well, gentlemen, there is little we can do when it comes to taking off the baraga and what have you. The personal thing is available, and anybody who needs it gets it. You can only do your job and leave the rest.
Yes, there is need for concerted efforts to reduce the rate.
All right.
What is the difference between Shakabambam and Shakabula?
They play the same role. They just give them different names. Yes, they play the same name. You see, like the baraga you were talking about, some of them you see them as if they are harps. They are not harps.
Roots, what they call roots.
Yeah, roots. Yes. And by the time somebody tells you, mix it, what it means by mixing is to put hot drinks inside.
Inside, okay.
So when they now give the person, he takes it and he becomes somebody. Yes.
Very good. Okay, gentlemen, thank you very much indeed for being part of this segment of our discussion this morning on Good Morning Nigeria. Commissioner of Police Bala Chirama, we thank you for coming.
You're welcome, thank you.
Good. And of course, Wobin Gora, FRSC Sector Commander FCT. It's been a pleasure talking to you this morning.
Thank you very much.
All right.